This is Women's Leadership Success, episode number 148. AI is everywhere, but do you know your place in it? If you listened to part one of our conversation with Faisal Hoque, you discovered something powerful. What makes you uniquely human is actually your greatest competitive advantage in an AI-driven world. But maybe you're thinking, okay, great, but what's my next step? How do I translate my human value into practical AI strategies, especially when the technology feels intimidating? I'm Sabrina Brahm, and if you've been feeling overwhelmed by all the AI noise out there or unsure about how to integrate it into your leadership style, this conversation is exactly what you need. Here's what I love about Faisal's approach. He doesn't speak in tech jargon or assume you're already an expert. Instead, he gives clear, easy-to-follow frameworks, like his open and care methods that allow you immediately to understand and implement, no matter where you're starting from. By the end of part 2, you'll have a clear, actionable steps to take, a sort of GPS guiding you through AI implementation, amplifying your leadership rather than threatening it. Ready to demystify AI and lead with confidence? Let's dive in.
Welcome to Women's Leadership Podcast, showing you how to influence people, improve your performance, and advance your career. Brought to you by women's leadership and career expert Sabrina Brahm and womensleadershipsuccess.com. Here's your chance to meet women trendsetters leading the way to success, accomplishment, and balance in business and life. No matter if you're a manager, CEO, or entrepreneur, join Sabrina for coaching and no-nonsense advice to improve your career and bottom line.
Okay, you write that to transcend the limits of business with AI, we must first transcend outdated thinking. What changes are needed in how we live and work?
First thing we all have to understand is a hybrid world. And when I'm talking about hybrid, we kind of, popularized that term post-pandemic where we're talking about working from home and working at the office. That's what we meant by hybrid. The definition of hybrid, as I'm talking about it, is the hybrid world of, digital and non-digital. So just 3 examples of hybrid is that if you look at markets, they are the way we interact with our customer. It's very much hybrid in the sense that it's not just we digitally connect with our customer. Digital agents are connecting with our customer. So for example, when you're looking at Netflix episode and it's telling you should be looking at this particular show after you're done with this, that's an algorithm agent that's looking at your, buying pattern and suggesting something. So that's one example of how you interact with customer and focus on market. Second is that, our workforce is hybrid in the sense that we no longer have just human resources. We have all kind of digital resources that actually works for us, works with us, and help us to do our work. All right. So that very example, those AI agents are working for us to help us with our customer, and it's replacing a lot of the human resources, right? And then now you have to think about leadership, what it means in terms of hybrid world. Leadership is no longer about just managing human resources, where it used to be that we focus on when I started my career, we used to think very much about process performance and organizational structure. Those kind of started to fade away, and we started talking about emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and inspiration and influence, that sort of a tenet. It's dramatically changing because of the fact that as leaders now we also have to think about systems and how we manage and allocate those systems by protecting our human resources and enabling our human resources. So as leader, you are not only saying, hey, Faisal is going to do this and Sabrina is going to do this. You're also going to say, my customer agent is going to do this and my chatbot is going to do that. And how does all that coexist with my human resource? So the leaders has to be both emotionally intelligent, but also has to be system thinkers, and system managers. So which used to be job of IT or technology people. That's no longer true, right? So it is a job of everybody and anybody. So in this hybrid world, you have to start thinking about, okay, where does my people fits and where does my technology fits? Much differently than we have ever seen before.
So how can a leader learn this?
So leaders first have to accept the fact that you have to become multidisciplinary more than ever. That's the first stage. Mm-hmm. And then you have to, organize your organization that kind of thinks that this way, right? And in Transcend, we kind of explored this two framework that kind of define step-by-step process. We'll start with the first framework, which is called OPEN, which really allows you to explore opportunity. And OPEN is an acronym, and it starts with first letter of OPEN is outline with your purpose, why you exist and why you're doing things. And it goes into, the navigating this process of outlining and experimenting and et cetera, et cetera. So you have to kind of start with your purpose, why you exist, and who are you trying to serve. And then, so it's a kind of a philosophical thought process first, but it also incorporates your business model, your technology model, your people model, et cetera, et cetera. CARE is the governance element of it. And it's, again, CARE is an acronym, starts first with, it's a very, looking at it from a high risk, which starts with catastrophizing, meaning come up with most catastrophic scenario that you can create with your business model and your tech model. And then how do you create the guardrail within your organization to protect your organization, but also protect your customer and the society as a large. So an example would be that, okay, well, let me come up with a product whereby, let's take some simple example of what we can all relate. I run a restaurant, so I'm not going to have wait people anymore. I'm going to have humanized robot, and I'm going to have a bunch of kiosks that allows my people to order the food. Well, there's a couple of very different tenant you can explore with that, saying that, okay, well, are people going to come in a restaurant where there's no human contact, right? Because many of us go to restaurant for social interaction, not just that we want to feed ourselves. Yes, we obviously want to feed ourselves, but we're also going to the restaurant for social interaction. And many of our social interaction is actually not just with the people that we are with, it's actually with the people that we're interacting, that are serving us and whatever, having that human connection, right? So that's one. The second is that if we replace all the jobs with all these automated things, then what happens there's a ripple effect. Maybe I am more profitable, but if we're all profitable and there's no human workers, then what happens to society as a whole? Are we prepared for that? And it's not just mundane manual jobs. You're already seeing that effect in knowledge workers and other high-end workforce. So the CARE model allows you to kind of think about these things, just like open model allows you to kind of think about efficiency and profitability and optimal way and innovative way to think about things. A CARE model allows you to think about this catastrophic scenario that that could happen. And many of us think that we're not exactly prepared for all of this. We're going at it, and we're not prepared for it, and we're not talking about these things enough and thinking about these things enough. So as much as you want to explore opportunity, you also want to explore the risk factor and then come up somewhere in a balanced way where your organization can succeed, but with the thinking of what happens to the people that works for us, people we're trying to serve, and society as a general.
So every company would do that with open and with the care models. It seems like there's not a lot of forums where people are really discussing this.
Yeah, well, because, we haven't, when what happens, we only get smarter when we create problems. we don't get smarter when we're midst of it, right? So, because most of the leaders are very much in the moment of surviving, right? And we're not forward thinking. So I think what will happen, I hope this is not the case. We talk about this. You don't have to use my framework or our framework, but we think about the risk and the opportunity and create a balanced approach so that we don't cannibalize our own human society as we know. We made a lot of progress. Humanity is far better off despite our current problems or despite all the things we see around the globe. We are at a better place than we were. There are less hungry people. There are less diseased people, et cetera, right? So I hope that we have the foresight to think about all this. And AI is not like any other technology we have seen before. It is really going to have a dramatic impact on as we know, on the world as we know, right? So I hope we have the foresight to think about all this and approach it in a cautious manner. But on the other hand, it's not human nature to think about we are distracted, we're greedy, we are not as empathetic as we should be, right? We're very self-serving creatures, right? And so I hope there is more conversation about these things.
Quick question. Are you secretly crushing it at work, but still watching less qualified people leapfrog over you? Oof, been there. And here's the truth. Getting promoted isn't just about doing great work. It's about being seen as leadership material. That's why I've created the 90-day Career Breakthrough Session, a free strategy call to uncover what's holding you back and build a plan to fast-track your next big move. It's fun, it's focused, and yes, it actually works. My clients have landed VP titles, doubled their salaries, and stopped feeling invisible in meetings. Ready to get unstuck? Book your session now at sabrinabrahm.com/advancement before another Steve gets the job you deserve. So you emphasize the need to prepare for when AI goes wrong. Why is this so critical, and what steps can people and organizations take to safeguard themselves?
Well, it starts with individuals, right? We each are contributing in that process. So whether that's we look at a bad meme and share, or a fake information that we share because algorithms suggested we should be sharing, it all starts with that, right? And then you can take it to the whole extreme, because as you know, I do a lot of work with our government, and I've done quite a bit of work in defense. There are rogue agents that will create lots of havoc with AI, that will create wars and misinformation and et cetera, et cetera. So, and then, we keep talking about that the intelligence is going to get better and better. You're already seeing an example where we cannot shut down certain algorithm because it just created a mind of its own, right? And it's you're seeing those news as well. So we have to get preventative thinking, and we have to take preventative measure. and we have to think about what we individually do. We talked about climate control or climate impact forever and ever, right? And in the context of climate, one hope I have is that nature in many ways tries to correct itself. I think AI is 1,000 or million times more danger. And we talked about climate control in terms of our individual contribution, recycling, or how we live has impact. AI is actually thousands or million times, can be thousands or million times more destructive because AI is really mimic of humanity, and it can mimic the worst of humanity. It doesn't have a nature. We don't control nature. AI is learning from all our bad behavior, and if we're not cautious, it could have dramatic impact as we know it.
So we hear about, and you're just mentioning it, human versus machines, but you advocate a partnership. What does a healthy collaboration with AI look like?
Yeah, so it's like how we use it, what we teach, how we put guardrails. Just because we can, should we? Right? That's very much of a thinking human first, and then using AI as a partner to enhance our purpose and the good qualities versus our bad qualities. There will be always bad people. There will be always good rogue agents. But if most of us are moving towards what is good for humanity, then I think we'll have a better chance of partnering with AI.
So as it becomes more present in our lives, how do we make sure we're in control and that we make ethical, intentional choices?
Yeah, so, again, it starts with you, right? So ethical choices is that, well, should I write this email that I don't even know, and I want to portray it as my answer, right? Or should I share something that I should not be sharing? Should I cheat on my homework? Should I look at some research that has I don't even understand what it is, but I'm just pushing it out there. I mean, those are all various individual example of ethical behavior. Okay, let's take it more complicated example. I'm a drug producer. I've created a predictive model. I haven't done any kind of thorough test, but I'm pushing it out there by saying, hey, our research shows that this is going to cure this, and you should be taking it. Well, that's not very ethical. I'm making money, but it's not ethical. I can do this work with AI, so I'm laying off thousands of people without understanding the ramification of economy that's not very ethical practice, right? I'm a government. I'm using misinformation to manipulate my citizen. These are all examples of ethical or unethical uses of technology.
In your book, you explore the concept of detachment, stepping back to see the big picture. Can you talk about that and how it can help us make better decisions?
Yeah, it's interconnected to what we just talked about, right? Because the CEOs or leader of any organization making decisions in terms of how to create a culture that stay true its purpose, which I would hope that purpose is to making a social and a business impact for your organization and society as a whole. So from there on, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, meaning how you deploy your resources. It depends on how you explore the market, depends on how you structure your organization, the product you're producing, how you're producing it. All of that is interconnected.
Well, but talk about what detachment is.
Detachment is that false notion of what's good in the short term and what's bad for society as a general, in the sense that you can think short term. Okay, well, if I can be so profitable utilizing with AI, then maybe I can make an organization with 30 people. Well, can you really? Is your customer is going to latch onto that? Is the people that you're laying off are the best people that you're laying off that could be utilized for other things, right? So the detachment is the tendency of convenience, short-term thinking, and not being very empathetical of societal impact.
Okay. This is our last question. With your background as a technologist, entrepreneur, philosopher, and I would say futurist, you offer a rare lens into the future. What does it really mean to transcend, and how can we begin that journey?
When I talk about transcend, I was talking about really, can you transcend yourself of your capability to doing good? And you can define good as any way you want. Taking care of my community, taking care of my employees, taking care of my family, being more creative, right? So you can transcend your current capability because you have this enormous access to this set of technology for research, outreach, bringing people together, et cetera, right? And a better communicator. That's what I meant by transcend. I don't mean technology transcending humanity. I'm talking about transcending humanity and yourself by utilization of this technology.
Right.
Set of technologies.
Yeah. So in order for us to really effectively partner with AI, we need to keep growing ourselves, transcending where we are and becoming that future self that is better for ourselves and other people. Is that?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Wow. This is the end of the interview, and I would love to have you come back in 6 months or a year, because I know there's going to be so many new things to talk about on this, and I'm just always left with so many more questions to ask you. I really appreciate you coming today, and I wonder how our audience can learn more about you, your work, and your book.
Books are available wherever it's sold in any form, ebook, audiobook, or hardcover, whether that's Amazon or whether that's, Barnes & Noble. You can find me on my website. You can find about my companies on my website as well. You can find me on LinkedIn. My website is faisalhoque.com. Faisal Hoque is my LinkedIn profile. And I do daily posts about all these topics or related topics. So there you have it.
Thank you so much, Faisal.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found value today, please subscribe and leave a review to help other leaders discover these insights. For weekly advancement strategies, subscribe to the Missing Link Leadership Link, my 5-minute newsletter delivering tactics top executives use to increase visibility and command respect in meetings. Find it at sabrinabrahm.com/missing leadership link. Would you like to advance your career faster? Coaching with me will help. Contact me at sabrinabrahm.com about coaching or joining my exclusive Impact Executive Leadership Mastermind. Follow me on LinkedIn for daily leadership tips. Just search Sabrina Brahm Executive Leadership Coach. Until next time, keep elevating your presence and advancing your career.
Thank you for joining your host, Sabrina Brahm, on another Women's Leadership Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email her at sabrina@sabrinabrahm.com. Since 1989, Sabrina and her team have helped hundreds of women managers, business leaders, and entrepreneurs with valuable trainings, articles, books, and executive coaching. For additional tips, interviews, and free access to Great Leaders Today mini course, visit www.womensleadershipsuccess.com.